and drunk, and someday you stay at home and never go upstairs.
All right, My Night Outers, welcome for another episode of My Night Out Radio. This is DJ Psycho Eddie. In studio tonight, of course, we have Tony Jones making us sound as wonderful as we do.
I'm not going to lie, I'm a little hungover.
You're a little, well, so am I. And my hangover's coming from Friday because he had a blowout.
Damn.
Yeah. Them country folk know how to party. No crap. By the way, the song you heard on the way in was Blindside Thunder.
Who, by the way, incidentally had an article in the Providence Journal earlier this week.
That's right.
I didn't even know the Projo still covered local bands, and I didn't know the Projo was still getting printed. But good for them.
You know, I'm at a loss at all that because I knew just from Facebook, because I research was very limited as to like probably a half hour before your show started. The song on the way in, by the way, Blindside Thunder, the name of the song was Tequila, which only adds insult to injury for the amount of alcohol that I consumed this weekend. Also in studio, we have Crimson.
Hello, sir. How are you?
And we also have the Reverend Almighty.
And the Aflac duck is also in the building.
Yes, he runs through on occasion. Oh, it's going to be another fun one, guys.
I held that in my whole show.
Gee, thanks. I always knew.
We know which one's the classy show.
If you didn't hear that, first get your hearing checked. Number two, I think Tony drew mud.
And an age-old question, do farts have lumps?
Well, first off, as we do every week, I got to tell you about the stuff that I stuffed in my neck hole this week. I'm just going to do the highlights.
We should change the name of the show to Neck Hole Weekly.
First off, Saturday morning, Saturday, I was starving, absolutely starving, hungover a little bit from the night before, so we went to the office right in Warwick. It's the Old Carvel if you want Rhode Island directions. They have the office omelet, which has every different type of meat they have, plus onions, peppers, and mushrooms, cheese. Damn. Yeah, it's one of those things you got to do. You know, do all the meats omelet. It snaps you right out of a hangover. Whatever, meat lovers omelet, whatever you want to call it. Over there, they call it the office omelet. Now, I'm a big fan of omelets just because, you know, it's nice, tight, compact, and you just shovel it in quickly. However, sometimes you get omelets that are not as good as others. I'm not going to mention any names, but, you know, when you get into an omelet and you stab into it and you get a frozen piece of broccoli, chances are you're not going to enjoy the rest of that omelet. However, everything had nice char to it. The peppers had that char to it. Excellent, excellent. I can't say enough about it. Their coffee, however, stands true to what I've said for years. No matter how good the breakfast is, or the better the breakfast is, the worse the coffee is. I just forewent the coffee and went straight to the Bloody Marys, a little bit of the hair of the dog. And oddly enough, Friday night, we were heading to the Justin Sane birthday party. We ended up at the Greenville Inn up in Smithfield. I had the prime rib. My wife had the baked seafood platter, so I had pretty much both. Food's excellent up there. I can't say enough about it. The prime rib was cooked perfectly. The baked seafood platter was cooked well, but not overcooked, so the fish didn't turn into splinters while you were chewing it. However, Reverend was talking off the air before we went on. He went to a place that I absolutely love.
Los Andes.
Tell me about it.
Well, you know when you're in the worst part of town and the line is going out the door that you're in the right place.
Of course.
So I'd never been. Some friends of mine invited me to meet them out there. So we get there. Before 8 o'clock, don't try to go there without a reservation. It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Get yourself a reservation. We got there about 8:30, sat down at the bar. We didn't think it was a long time, about a half an hour. Half an hour at the bar for me is, that's a normal 5 minutes. So we had a couple drinks. They sat us down. First thing, they apologized for the half an hour we had to wait. They dropped a couple appetizers on our table. Really interesting stuff. They had a cold sweet potato with a Dijon mustard, coated with just a bit of, it was like a cinnamon glaze.
Yep.
Absolutely amazing. If you described it to me, I wouldn't want to eat it. 'Cause cold sweet potato just doesn't sound right. It was excellent. My main course was about 6 pounds of heaven. It was a bed of rice covered with had to be 1.5 pounds of very lean, good steak.
Yep.
Topped with 3 or 4 eggs, with another side of potatoes wrapped around it. Now, this would be the average person's probably 36 to 48 hour caloric consumption. I was good for it for about 17 minutes.
Well, fortunately, no one here is average. Actually, oddly enough, I remember what you had. I was not part of that, but I remember the name of what you had. It's called the Silpacho. What about you, Krim? Any recommendations?
Well, for the first time actually ever, I went to the Hope Street Pizza last week and had some of their barbecue chicken and even some of their pineapple. And I hate pineapple. Some people will give me the scowling look for that, but I just don't care for pineapple. But I actually had a slice of it, and I actually enjoyed it. But when you mentioned The Office, one of my favorites is if I'm over there for like a karaoke night, they'll do Saturdays with Brandy, is that they have sweet potato fries that come dipped in cinnamon brown sugar.
Yes.
And it's the most delicious thing. It's like having dessert late at night. And it's great to have, especially when you're going through their bar.
Food at a bar is always thumbs up. However, Tony, I wanted to touch base with you on this because you went to quite the event up in Pawtucket the other night.
So I'm a longtime supporter of PBS, and I was able to round up some tickets to an evening on Cork to support PBS. And, it was – I'm the kind of guy that likes to go from one weekend I'll be at a place where your shoes stick to the floor so bad that you just walk right out of them because it's a dump. And the next week I'll throw on the old monkey suit and do something like that. So, man, it was great. The spread they put out of just the names you would think of, Capitol Grill was there, Matunic Oyster Bar was there, and then, of course, throughout the food was on the outer perimeter, and then the wine tasting kind of was a snake through the middle. So definitely got my fill, as it were.
So you were running laps.
And I have the same problem that you do. If I order a meal and my girlfriend orders a meal, she eats like a bird. So not only do I finish my meal, but I finish half of her meal because she's not going to finish it. So I had, my tasting bites, and then I would finish my girlfriend's plate because
she couldn't.
That's how women are,
she doesn't.
So
no, trust me, if you look in the history books, there is no question for why we are the size that we are. But what brings you guys down is the event that you guys have coming up, the Get Gored for Good. We're going to take a break right now. When we come back, we will start talking about the Get Gored for Good. Oh, sorry about that.
Well, look in the mirror.
By the way, Mike's at live now. So, that was Melissa Balrosa. Moving on. Unfortunately, we do not have photo capability right now, but we're working on that.
No one knows who we were discussing.
No, not at all. By the way, if you want to be part of the show, like Krem and the Reverend Almighty over here, why don't you hit us up on Facebook /MyNightOut. Hit me up with an email, MyNightOutRadio@Verizon.net. You got our webpage, MyNightOutRI.com. You can also hit us up on Twitter or Instagram, both DJ Psyco Eddie and MyNightOutRI on both of those. Hit us up, look us up. If you want to advertise something like these gentlemen are right now, hit me up. Let me know. So, getting back to getting gored. Let's get gored for good. Tell me about it. How did it start off? You know, what's... You know,
well, I mean, we all know what the Amos House is in this city. I mean, Tony's talked about it many times. It's just an amazing company. I mean, they're a nonprofit. They do so much. They do so much. And please go on to amoshouse.org to learn more about what the Amos House does. But there was a fundraiser opportunity brought up about 4 or 5 years ago. Kind of fished it around. This city loves to run. So there was talks about doing a 5K. There were talks about doing, family fun runs. There was talks about doing a lot of different things. And then someone jokingly started to bring up the running of the bulls in Pamplona, Spain.
Yep.
We all know the history where a bunch of people in white shirts and white pants stand there and they open up a gate and they release the bulls and you run through the city and get chased by the bulls. And we figured, why not? Obviously bulls weren't going to happen in Providence because anything that runs around with that much meat on it, you're probably going to eat.
I'm going to try like hell.
So we decided to go along with the roller derby girls, the only things that could outrun you. Roller derby girls with roller skates on, bull helmets, chasing people through the streets of Providence, all for the charity of the Amos House. Krim, tell them a little bit more.
Well, one thing I love about it is that it is for everybody. And when I talk about running the bulls, I can see the sweat beads coming on your forehead right now. The whole concept.
I don't even think of physical activity unless it's going to get more food or coming back from getting food.
Well, what's great about it is it ends off with its own party in Burnside Park with beer, sangria, a lot of really good food. They had, I forget the company came down and they cooked some of the best cheeseburgers I've had in my entire life there. But for the fun run itself, you can actually walk through because we've had people from wheelchairs strolling their babies through, even having their leash dogs coming on through the whole thing with their own T-shirt too to get bloodied up as well. Of course, it's not real blood, not the blood of the innocent, but just washable red paint. But it's going to be a basic fun run through downtown Providence. You go through all the bowls there; they kind of blow you up, and we have a big party at the end. Halfway through is an optional American Ninja inflatable course. So you can dive through and feel like a little kid, like going back to Discovery Zone back in the day and dive in the ball pit. But in addition, this year something new is going to be a 5K race as well, which is an option for you to do as well. And again, to get more information on that. You
meaning them.
No. I was so a little nervousness there.
If I got to go more than a mile and a half on the motorcycle, I start sweating.
When did this show turn into the roast of DJ Psyco Eddie?
It's an easy target.
But again, you can get more information on getgoredforgood.org. And even if you are unable to participate, which is Sunday, April 24th, you can actually donate on the site as well to one of the many teams as well.
There's so many teams, and we want to thank everybody out there that has gotten on, that has named a team. For only $35, you can actually create a team. Register your team, pick whatever name you want. Please try to make it PG-13. It is a family-friendly event. Or you can join an existing team like my team, the really good-looking, awesome athletic team. That is known as Teamed Gorgeous. That's GOREDGEOS. And I got all the hot chicks that are not on the roller derby league, so I scoured the city. I'm actually trying to get Ruth Marie now from Sex Coffee and Dan Riley and a few other those really, really good-looking rocker chicks to join the team before the event happens.
Oh, of course, but brains before beauty. You got to join my team, the Matadorks, who are the greatest of all. And I like to do a shout out to one of our upcoming donors who hit me up to see how he can donate as well. And that is one of our favorites around this room is the lovely Dave Sage. I mean, he's the most charitable, beautiful.
He's a really nice guy.
He is so fantastic. He is so giving and
when I grow
caring.
up, I want to be Dave Sage.
I know. We all really want to be like Dave Sage. So, Dave Sage, thank you for coming up and going to be donating to us on getgoredforgood.org.
And he cuts a hell of a guitar solo.
Yes, he does. So once again, we have to cover Dave Sage, hell of a guy. He's going to be part of the your team.
No. He applied to be a donor. Like he can donate anything from like money to blood, but otherwise
he's actually busy that day because he'll be helping little old ladies cross the street.
I see.
And he's going to be helping the Girl Scouts selling cookies as well. Yeah.
Well, I got to say, now you guys have mentioned the roller derby. You guys are part of the Providence Roller Derby as the announcers.
Well,
You
I was.
were.
I'm
He
retired.
is.
Yeah.
Retiring from a volunteer sport. I really haven't. Still waiting for my pension check.
It's still better than getting fired from something you do for free. But tell me a little bit about Providence Roller Derby, where these girls are coming from. I mean,
The girls that play the sport are coming from everywhere. Providence Roller Derby has an actual scientist on it. One of the girls is a scientist. We've had lawyers, doctors, teachers. They are the women that are around us all the time. I think as men, we gotta. It's time, guys. All right, we are not the powerful ones. These girls will kick our ass mentally and physically, and that's what Providence Roller Derby is all about. 2006, they started a league. It's one of the most successful leagues in the country. They have a travel team, the Rhode Island Riveters. They have a B team travel team, the Killer Bees. And then they have 3 home teams that battle against each other in downtown Providence at some point this summer. Be on the lookout for those bouts. They get the Old Money Honeys, the Mob Squad, and the Secundit River Roller Rats, my always favorite team.
well, I got to say, the first time I've ever made a public appearance, you were the announcer, and it was at the Kennedy Plaza.
I have a picture still of that day of you guys ripping me apart and my co-announcer,
Yeah.
Dan White, laughing at it, yes.
That was the very first time I ever made a public appearance. Before that, I was always hiding behind the turntables or doing other things. First time in public, and I still bring it up with a little tear in my eye, mostly because of the mace afterwards. But
Told you not to touch me like that, man.
hey, you looked like you were sleeping and weren't going to react much. But anyways, we'll digress. Why don't we cut to a break here because we got a lot of awesome music. And speaking of awesome music, 95 Hyde. Have you seen them?
Haven't seen them yet. I've seen the marquees, and I'm
Yes.
always
95 Hyde. Well, do you remember the Jessica Prouty Band?
Yes.
Okay. Jessica Prouty Band merged with another band. They came into 95 Hyde. Awesome band. Everyone, even for their young age, are excellent on their instruments. So before we got into the instrument joke, because I could see you smiling already, why don't we cut to 95 Hyde? Let's light this place up. We'll be back in a minute. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was 95 High. Song was Set Me Free. Before that, 95 High, Light This Place Up. That's right, we are also doing double shots of Cuervo. Well, music too, but, you know, the booze has to come. Speaking of booze, I hear one of the sponsors, one of the people that are going to be at the Get Gourd for Good after party is a brewery.
Revival Brewery. We always love, you know, Sean Larkin and the guys over at Revival Brewery. They donate their time and their beer to every great cause. And again, this is for the Amos House, so Sean stepped right up. There will be a beer garden. There will be a giant mechanical bull that you can ride. There will be Vicious Styles hula hoop lessons. There will be
bands. Yep.
There will be bands.
Music, yeah.
Slick will be there.
What bands are going to be there? Slick?
It's just that one band.
Just
that's,
the
all
one
you,
band?
that's all you need.
That's all
honestly.
you need.
True.
That's all you need because I'll be singing while I'm on the bull. My show will be on at 4. Please come and see me.
And it'll be on YouTube by 6. So, I want to change gears a little here. There are a few other events coming up for you and, well, for Krim and I also. Now, you also do the zombie crawl.
I do the zombie crawl every year in Providence. Yeah, this year is going to be a little different. So, I think we got too big. Our capacity got too big. We hit the 5,000 zombie mark a couple of years back, and everybody knows, you know, you can't fit people into anything in Providence. And so we took over an entire street. The Dark Lady stepped up, did an excellent job closing the street. This year, I've been approached by 3 different couples that want to get married at Zombie Night.
Oh, my.
So we are going to have our first. We've had zombie people meet up. We've had a zombie baby. The zombie. I mean, we're better than eHarmony. Really, think about it. So this year we're going to have at least a double wedding. It could be a triple wedding. I am ordained. I am the Reverend Almighty, and I will make it happen. So we're going to have. They haven't even done that on The Walking Dead yet. So we are cutting new ground here.
Well, if you don't know if you know this or not, but you're not the only ordained person in this room.
No, I know that Crimson is also.
No, actually, Tony Jones is. And by the way, I got to say the only wedding I've seen Tony perform was quite interesting. It was Doug Izzy when he got married to his beloved, and the best part of the whole wedding had nothing to do with the wedding. The person sitting right in front of me cracked open a liter bottle of vodka. The fun part, the cool part about this was that liter bottle was gone before Tony's service was over, and it was only about a 15-minute service.
Chug.
Did my mom go to that wedding?
I don't know if your mom was there, but I know who was there, and I'm not going to drop names because she'd kick my butt. But I'll digress on that. Well, one of the other events I did want to bring up is Freak Fest 7. Now, obviously, there are 6 others. I have been a part of this since Freak Fest 4, and it was big then. It's been getting bigger ever since. Now we're at FET, ballroom, the main room, the ballroom, and the lounge, plus the small area that when they open the curtains going to the kitchen, they're going to have more stuff stuffed in there, more features stuffed in there. This is going to be off the chain. Now, Krim, tell me how much you know, and I think I could fill in the blanks from there. But.
Yeah, what I love about this is, like, compared to previous years, which it's always been a great support with Justin, like the work he's done with supporting local and regional music in New England with like 2 stages. It's going to be about 25 bands here. What's far beyond different, because I joined last year with you being a host as well. This year, it's going to be a throwback to the 1920s, 1930s, like Ringling Brothers, Barnum Bailey circus. And not only, I'm not talking about trapeze acts. I'm talking about like the freak shows. Like if you've ever seen HBO's Carnival, that sort of stuff. And so it's going to have that kind of throwback vibe. So we're going to have, hula hoopers. We're going to have contortionists. You're going to have blockheads doing freak show stuff. There's going to be a live zombie execution on the stage as well.
Yes, Dave from Vulgar Expressions is doing that.
Yes.
on main stage.
Yep, and Whit Carney is going to be there as well. There's going to be
Sess and Wick.
Sess and Wick are going to be there as well. But they're going to be in between all the bands on both stages, and then there's going to be cage dancers, there's going to be snake charmers. And what I love different about this year as well is how big it's gotten, that we have huge headliners. People I saw all the way back to Ozfest, back in like 99. So we got like Soulfly, Suffocation, Abnormality, Lottie Kong, and even Battlecross playing. And that made a lot of jaws drop around the room when we heard that this is how big it's gotten now.
No, it's absolutely huge. Fortunately for me, I talked to Justin probably a lot more than my wife would like me to, because every time I talk to him, I end up booking something else, which is great for me. Not so much for the family time, we'll call it. But I've been going up and down this list, and the people are just the bands are amazing.
Whiskey Fire's playing. I'm excited for that.
Yeah, they always put on a good show. Actually, why don't I just run through just on the main stage? You have. Got my notes all screwed up. Hold on a second. We're working on this. But no, we'll skip it.
There's about 20 amazing other local acts that are
just on the
there.
main stage. It's huge. Plus the out in the parking lot, they have more features in the parking lot. As you're walking in, they have a guy. It's called Kick Me in the Face. He puts his head in a vice, holds his head still with a soccer net behind him, and allows you to kick soccer balls at his face.
That sounds a lot like my job in the day, but it's called corporate office in corporate America. This guy's just brought it to the real extreme of what it actually is.
Exactly. He knows exactly what it's going to turn out to be, and this is just...
Sounds like a lot of guys' marriages.
No. You're correct. There is a ball being used, and there is kicking, but I think you're about 3 to 4 feet off, depending on the person you're talking about.
So how do you get tickets to this event?
Well, I have tickets. Every band that's playing, with the exception of the headliners, have tickets. You can even contact FET Music Hall, and FET is selling tickets online. I mean, right now, and this is just rough estimates, but We're upwards of 700-800 people showing up, and we're still 3 weeks out.
I would say people go get your tickets now.
Yeah, we're definitely going to run out of tickets.
I know. I'm also involved in another event that night, the Grown Ass Prom that we've done every year, and people waited till the last minute, and we sold out. And I know that Freak Fest, if I wasn't going to be there, I would be at the Freak Fest because I've been to them, and it gets bigger every year, It's going to sell out, folks, so don't stand around thinking about it.
Walk past the bar is literally a who's who of the Rhode Island music scene. And getting into, because it's Freak Fest, you're going to have a lot of the fetish people that are going to be showing up. You're going to have a lot of the performers that don't normally come out because of just the list of top-notch entertainment, top-notch people that show up. You can't beat it. So now you're going to be announcing.
Yeah, I'm going to be one of the co-hosts with Lady V, actually, and we're going to be hosting the main stage in the main ballroom.
Do you know who's going to be announcing in the other room, or is there going to be an announcer?
I'm not too sure. You never know. Anything last minute, like even with the Tattoo Music Fest, it was kind of last minute. I came running in with Wick and Sess, who already had a great hold of the show, but they also had to do their performances as well. So you never know. What's great about Freak Fest is it's always like some surprise is going to happen, and that's definitely a big reason to definitely go there as well. Especially anyone in the local scene as well that wants to network. This is the place to go to start making relationships and friendships in the scene and building each other up.
Oddly enough, that's how I started networking. Was I had a pocket full of business cards, and in between while the bands are playing, I'm walking around literally, hey, you play music, here's my card. Hey, you play music. And a couple months later, or a couple years later at this point, I'm now nominated for Best Club DJ in Rhode Island, which, by the way, shameless self-promotion. Go on to Tony, what's that website again? It's motifri.com/music 2016 or
it's either 2016 music or music 2016.
So either way,
try
both
both.
ways. Try both ways.
Or you can pick up a copy of Motif magazine.
Yeah, they have their. Also, you can even go on to my Facebook page, my DJ Psyco Eddie Facebook page.
His mother's Facebook page.
Yeah, Mom's
don't
Facebook laugh.
Page.
Mom promotes everything that I do.
Everybody's promoting.
But there is a direct link to get into the Survey Monkey survey. Question 32, best nightclub DJ Psycho Eddie. Also,
Now,
Tony Jones
I
is
mentioned
there,
it last week, and it bears repeating. I hear that if you win, there may be a big shindig thrown in the
Yes.
event of your...
Yes, my wife heard that on the air pretty much when everyone else heard that. I've caught a lot of crap over it. But, yes, I will. If I take first place or even second place,
So
there's
if you
gonna be
leave Met with some kind of trophy, there will be some kind of party.
Oh, yeah. There will definitely be a party.
All right, so I've actually been approached to be a presenter at the Motif Awards this year. So I might just hold back actually handing you the award should you win it until I see said party begin and invitation. What do you think, guys?
Oh,
Well, I am a man of my word. I'm one of the few people that if you call me 6 months ahead and tell me X and such a date, X and such a time, you never have to call me again. It gets entered in, and I will be there.
All right.
So I take my word for it. It may take a little while to get everyone that I want to play at the party, but there will be a party to celebrate that.
We could do like Freak Fest 7.5.
I don't think I'm going to infringe on anything that Justin does because I don't really need that many people to show up. But why don't we take a break? And speaking of Justin and Freak Fest, someone I met at Freak Fest last year gave me a song, and I'm going to play that exact song because it is Sorrow Seed. Lilith Astaroth is the singer. It's Sorrow Seed. The name of the song is Divine Submission. We'll be back in a minute.
Kneeling at my feet, encased in black.
right, that was Sorrow Seed. Name of the song was Divine Submission. Lead singer, like I said, Lilith Astaroth.
I love her to death.
She does a lot of stuff. She's like literally nonstop, almost 24 hours a day.
I think she's toured the world more than like any other Olympic team in the world.
It's crazy, but I had the opportunity Friday night, Justin Scene's birthday, and we were at the Pasco Cafe. If you're looking for it, don't bother. With
It's
the
in
amount,
rubble.
if someone has a gas attack, they're going to blow out a window. That's how small this place is. But I got to say, there was about 75, 80 people in a place that I think had the capacity of 10. Just a little bit bigger than Borowski's Cafe, for those of you who know Borowski's. Tiny place, and it was packed with mostly metalheads. So, of course, you got to play metal music. That's what they want to hear. Now, I'm DJing, and I'm watching everything, and one by one, the locals are dropping off, except for, and I've told you guys this off the air, two of the most grisly-looking dudes. One of them, if you told him to act his age, he might drop dead on you. But you could just see them. They're biting their tongue a little bit. They didn't want to, oh, my God, this crap, I'm going home, because probably was going to get yelled at just as loudly from his wife for being that drunk. But it was beautiful, absolutely beautiful. It was probably one, maybe two, I don't want to say problems. We'll just say people had disagreements.
Metal moments.
Yeah, that's it.
Metal moments.
They let out their aggression.
Very emotional, like
It is.
passionate. They're very passionate people.
Well, you wouldn't realize that how passionate these people are about a lot of things, and the metal actually helps them to filter it through and process that anger appropriately, we'll call it. And that's our psychological corner. We'll leave that alone from there. So I got to ask, Reverend Almighty, I've already put Krim on the hot seat last time he was here and find out his background in Rhode Island. I got to ask you, tell me a little bit about your background. I mean,
Well, it's funny. A lot of people think I'm from Rhode Island and I've lived here forever. I really haven't. I've only I started coming down in the end of 2006, so about a decade I've been around. Only came down from roller derby at the beginning, and then I started hosting some burlesque shows and getting involved with different events. And just moved to the city 6 years ago.
okay.
Fell in love with it. I've lived in a bunch of different countries. I was a busted-up fighter for a few years. Not as bad as, like, Mickey Rourke and The Wrestler, but, it was him right before he gets onto the top rope at the end of the movie. I was right about there. Came down to the city, though, and it's just, Providence is great. People say what they want, warmer, cooler. Gina's a bitch, but Providence is a great, great city. It's one of my favorite places. I've lived in New Orleans. I've lived in New York. There's something about what I call the small town with big buildings that's known as Providence, and it's kind of a community that people.
If you could put a picture with that, with what you just said, small town with big buildings, put a picture with it. I think it definitely has warmer, cooler beat.
And she went out of state. I mean, come on, we got RISD right here. We got Brown. People have brains. It's a great city, and I just stumble around and talk to people and get involved in crazy stuff, and the crazy stuff turns into great charity stuff, and it all seems to mix in. And we jokingly talked about the metal moment and the metalheads, but it is a city with the metalheads and the punks and the goth kids and the hip hop and all that stuff. It all mixes in. Last night you were saying, Friday night at Justin's party, you start throwing on Coolio or Snoop Dogg, and everybody.
Nothing was sacred. I
Exactly.
literally went from Metallica to Snoop Dogg, and didn't miss a beat. They picked it right up, and the heads kept bobbing. Who's dancing? There is no disagreement, hatred, whatever you want to call it, between the different genres of music. Everyone knows it's music. Everyone that performs it realizes that it's an art form. It may not be their preferred art form, but that's what they're into.
We are a city of court jesters, entertainers, artists, promoters, and speakers of all such things, and we all come together for everything awesome, and that's what's great about Providence. I'm glad to be a part of it.
Well, you realize you just summed up everything that Condé Nast and a few of the other travel magazines have been saying about Rhode Island for years. Everything from one of the top 10 cities for food, top 10 cities for hospitality, top 10 cities for music. I mean, Rhode Island is always, if you see any of those lists, Rhode Island is usually at the top or pretty close to the top.
We're freaking awesome, and screw you, New York, and what you think is the best pizza. We have the best pizza here.
Amen.
Of course, Caserta's.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know. I'm a gourmet pizza kind of guy. Hope Street, right next to the little Mexican place there.
But you see, even in our foods, we're very passionate. You know, you have the utilitarian pizza, or the commonplace pizza, whatever you want to call it, like Caserta's. Caserta, it's dough, sauce, cheese, toppings. Caserta's, I could tell you what one of their secrets is. They drizzle the top with oil before they put it in the oven. Unfortunately or fortunately, however you want to look at it, I used to work there.
I'm salivating. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
We are going out to eat after this show, right?
Yes.
Well, that's usually the effect that this show has. Listen to it right before lunchtime. Forget it. You're not going to go back to work afterwards because you cannot get up from the table unassisted.
So I've come to the conclusion that the show exists so that you can go to restaurants and then write it off on your taxes at the end of the year.
You see, if I claimed anything that I did on this show, that would be one thing. My tax guy is he just loves it, but I don't claim any of this.
You need a better tax guy, man. You need a better tax guy. If you and Tony could figure out a way to eat for free in this city at the size you two guys are, you would save a lot of money.
Now, if you'll notice, anytime I sit down for a meal, towards the end of that meal, I'll mention something about real estate or I'll mention something about stocks, and I'll save that receipt. And let's just say that's for a reason.
If the IRS is listening, he's
that
just
actually-
joking.
That actually explains why we were sitting. I forget where we were sitting, but you said, out of the blue, we're in the middle of a conversation about a band, and it's like, oh, by the way, is your house for sale? No. Okay. Now I know why. Damn it, why can't I do that? All right. Well, guys, it's been great having you on the show. Really quickly, where can we get information for Get Gored for Good again?
GetGoredForGood.org, or you can look it up on Facebook as well. We're on the social media as well, but definitely GetGoredForGood.org. You can sign up as your own one-person team, join a team, start a team, or even donate to a team, such as the Matadorks, the brainiest of them all.
And like I said before, you can go to the little local diner with the Matadorks, so you can go to the Foxy Lady and check out Team Gorgeous. Last year we raised over $120,000. This year we're looking to beat that. We're looking to make $130,000. If we get to $130,000, that means in the 4 years we have raised over $500,000.
That's
so
awesome.
That's going to be our goal.
All right, guys. Thank you very much for coming down.
Don't
It's been
forget
a
that Dave
pleasure.
Sage will be there.
Yeah, Dave Sage is awesome.
What a gentleman.
And don't forget also Freak Fest 7, April 30th. What day is Get Gored for Good?
April 24th, Sunday morning.
And where does everyone meet up?
That's going to be right in front of the convention center. You can find all that information again, getgoredforgood.org.
Or just look for the hot chicks on roller skates and follow them.
Oh, yes.
All right, we're going to leave here with Pistol Shot Gypsy, another awesome band. And I actually saw these guys at one of the Freak Fests. I forget which because I usually drink heavily. The name of the song is Just My Luck. Thank you for listening, everybody. We'll be seeing you.
Looking for a love to friend. Me and all my friends, we got nothing to prove, nothing to lose.